We gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. He chastens and hastens his will to make known the wicked oppressing. Now cease from distressing. Sing praises to his name. He forgets not his own. Beside us to guide us, our God with us joining, ordaining, maintaining his kingdom divine. So from the beginning, our fight we were winning. The Lord was at our side, all glory be thine. We all do extol thee, our leader triumphant, and pray that thou still our defender wilt be. Let thy congregation escape tribulation, thy name be ever praised. O Lord, make us free. Hi guys. Now please do not take that as how the song is actually supposed to be sung. I was just kind of improvising there. But it's good to see you again. It's good to be back for another applied music theory session. I'm your tutor, Oren Thomas, and today we'll be talking a little bit about time signatures. Now, you've probably heard that term a lot. Time signatures, key signatures, all of these things, and you wonder, what do these things mean? By the end of today's class, you will definitely have a better awareness of time signatures, how to use them, where they apply, and everything that relates to that. So, before we get into anything, of course, you know that we always start with prayer. So please bow your heads as we pray. Kind, gracious, loving Father, we thank you so much for bringing us here once more to another theory session. We thank you for your gift of music, Lord. We are so grateful that you have given us this gift, something that we can use to express ourselves, something that we can use to express joy or sadness, something that we can use to praise you. And Lord, in everything that we do, we seek to praise you. So we ask that you will be with us now. We ask that you will guide our thoughts, guide our steps. We ask that you will open the minds of the listeners so that they will receive the lesson like a sponge receives water. Please guide us. Please bless us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so time signatures. Before we get into time signatures, however, we're going to be doing a little recap. I don't have a fun fact for you today, so we're going to be doing a little trivia section. So I'm going to ask a question from the previous class. Remember, the previous class was note, names, and values. So you should have the note names in your head by now. You should be saying them semi-brief, minim, quaver, crotchet. You should have them just going just like that. So I'm going to ask 2 questions. These questions, I want you to answer them as quickly as possible. Try and answer them from memory. Of course, if you don't remember them, then you can just look back in your notes because you were supposed to be taking notes. If you remember, I did say that last class. So I'm going to ask 2 questions. And then you're going to type as quickly as you can in the chat box. Type your answer. So, first question. I'm going to draw a symbol on the board, and you are going to tell me what note this is. What is the name of this note here? Quickly, type the answer. Quick. I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter M. M as in mommy. That is a giveaway. 3 seconds. The correct answer is Minim. Yay. All right. Second question. Second question. How do we draw? So oh no, you can't draw. All right, let me give you an next typing one. What is the value, based on last class now, what is the value of a crotchet? What is the value of a crotchet, or how many beats would you hold a crotchet for? Answer quickly, 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 quickly. 3, 2, 1. You hold a crotchet for 1 beat. So, those were your questions for today. I hope that you got them correctly. I hope that you've been enjoying the session so far. And remember, if you don't get something, you can always watch it over. That's what videos are for. Okay? So, let's get right into the lesson for today. So, we said that today we'll be talking about time signatures, right? So, I have some things written up here already, so we don't waste any time. We'll just get right into it. So, a time signature, essentially, you'll see 2 numbers at the start of any piece of music, at the start of a song, or if you're doing a piano piece or whatever it is. So the time signature are 2 numbers that tell the timing of the song. Now, I underlined timing for a reason. Some people may think timing is the same as tempo or the same as speed, but it is not. It's a completely different thing. The timing is either 2 or 3. The timing is either 2 or 3. It's a way to kind of categorize the music. So we have 2, so we'll say there are 2 times. There are 2 times. You will understand this phrase. There are 2 times. All right? So you have 2 and you have 3. 2 we call march time. 2 we call march time. And 3 we call waltz time. All right? So there are 2 timings, waltz time and march time. Now, let me just explain this very quickly. March time, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything that essentially you could march to. That's why they call it march time. Now, waltz time, you just count to 3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or even if you do it slower, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So anytime you're doing this, just remember, anytime you're looking at time signatures, you have 2 times. March time and waltz time. Now, let's erase it for 1 second and just see how these will apply to time signatures. Now, every other, the reason why I said this, the reason why I start out like this is because you have a whole lot of time signatures. But every time signature that you will ever have is a, what's the word? No, it's not derivative. Is made from these 2 and 3. So 4 is just 2 and 2. 6 is just 3 and 3. So you'll see as we go along. All right. So we said a time signature is 2 numbers that tell the timing of the song. So for example, let's say I have a song and you see 4, 4. This is the most common time signature that you'll ever see. Now most people would confuse these for a fraction. This is not a fraction. This is not 4 over 4 or 1 whole or anything like that. It's a very simple concept, all right? So, pay attention now. This is how time signatures work. 2 concepts. The top number, why that T look so? The top number tells us the amount the amount of beats per bar. The top number tells us what? The amount of beats per bar. We'll soon explain what a bar is and everything. The top number tells us the amount of beats per bar. And from elements of music, what was a beat again? The steady, consecutive pulse. Alright? So the top number tells us the amount of beats per bar. The bottom number tells us the, let me write bottom number. And the bottom number, write this down, tells us the type of beat that we're going to use as one beat. The type of beat that represents one beat. As we go along, you will understand this. So, top number, just to review, the top number tells us the amount of beats per bar. The bottom number tells us the type of beat that represents one beat. Alright? So, let's just break down 4/4. 4/4 is also called, this is just a, this can be a fun fact for today. 4/4 is also called common time. 4/4 is also called common time. And for some people, you might see this C. So you might also see a little C as the time signature. Alright? It's the same as 4/4. So when we're doing a 4/4 time signature, we'll do something like this. Good, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? So we'd have 4 beats. Now, from last class, we said that a crotchet, because that's a crotchet, yes, is 1 beat. Last class, we said a crotchet is 1 beat. And remember, I also said that depending on the time signature, the beat can change. The thing that represents 1 beat can change. This is where we'll explain this now. So, this means 4. This time signature literally means 4 crotchets per bar. 4 crotchets per bar. Now, what is a bar? Good question. A bar is simply this little space. It is what you'd call a thing that organizes music in time. So this is 1 bar. So bar 1, bar 2. We don't want to get too in-depth because I can go really in-depth in bar and all of those things, bar lines, everything. But just for now, we'll call that a bar. So this is 2 bars. So let me see if we can give another example now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 crotchets, or a quarter note. Now let us see if we can do a little exercise that will help you figure out how the rest of this could go, because you could do it a lot of different ways. You could put this here, and that would be correct, because you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because a semi-brief takes up 4 counts in a time signature of 4/4. So you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, ta. Or if I was playing this, I'd play F, 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 2, 3, 4. That's what that would sound like. Or we could break it up like this and put 2 minims. That is still 4, right? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And minims you hold for 2 beats. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? So you go. Tap, 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 ta, ta. But the beat is still ta, 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 ta. Alright? And the beat is going steadily. Or we could break it up like this. We could break it up into quavers and go. So how would this go now? Something like this, right? It's not finished. Let's do this for now. Let's do this for now. So this is still what you would call a complete bar because you have 4 crotchets first, toot, 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 and then toot, 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 toot. All right. So, all right, let me just do a little table here so that you guys can better understand what it is I'm doing because we really need you to get this. All right, so this is what you call a musical tree. So we'll start with a whole note up here, and then we're going to say, how many halves are in a whole? 2. What is a half note? A minim. How you draw a minim? Circle, stem, or head and stem. Head, stem. Sorry. So you have whole. Let me draw whole, half. We're gonna stop at 8th. We're not gonna do 16th. How many quarters are in a half? 2. That's a quarter note. That's a quarter note. That's a quarter note. And that's a quarter note. So you seeing how this is coming together now? You seeing how we could have fill out those bars in such a way? How many eighths are in a, I'm mixing up my voices. How many eighths are in a quarter? 2. Correct. Let me just put a little note here. When you're drawing quavers or eighth notes by themselves, you draw them with the tail down. When you join them together, you draw it with the tail across. So sometimes you may see me do that I just did a while ago. You may see me do it like this. Or you may see it like this. These are the same thing. 2 quavers, 2 quavers. They just draw them like this. It's a convention in music, all right? So I won't draw them like this, just for you to know. And then let's finish the table quickly. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam. And that's a E-I-G-H-T-H. Eighth. So let us go back a little bit to note names and values now. A little bit. That's why this lesson is right after. If our whole was going to be a number of 8, we're just using arbitrary numbers. If our whole was 8, then our half would be what? Half of 8 is 4. If our half is 4, then our quarter is 2, and then our eighth would be 1. If our whole was 2, then our half would be 1, then our quarter would be half, and so on and so forth, right? Good. So that's the principle, essentially. Now, we looked at the top number of the time signature. Now let's look at the bottom number of the time signature. Good? Let's look at the bottom number of the time signature. Let me change my marker because this. All right, so let's look at the bottom number of the time signature now. So, if our bottom number, and write this down, write up this table. If our bottom number is a 1, it means that, go look at the table, a whole note represents 1 beat. Yeah? If our bottom number is a 1, it means that a whole note represents 1 beat. Represents. If our bottom, now we're only talking about the bottom number, you know. Let me do a little heading. Bottom number of time signature. If our bottom number is a 2, what do you think that would mean? It would mean a half note or a minim. And I'm going to draw the represents 1 beat. This is a semibreve. This is a minim. If our bottom number is a 4, so essentially what we're doing, we're just teething the bottom number of whichever note we're using to represent 1 beat. So if we want a quarter note to represent 1 beat, then we say the bottom number would be a 4. If we want a half note to represent 1 beat, then our bottom number would be what? 2. If we want an eighth note to represent 1 beat, then our bottom number would be 8. And we'll see. We'll see very shortly. Quarter. Let's just finish writing this up. A quarter note represents 1 beat, and that is a crotchet. And then 8. And it can go on and on. We could do 16th and so on. But for this class, we'll stop at 8. All right? We won't do any more than 8. And this is a quaver. So let's look at this now. Let's go back over to that section. Over here, what would this time signature literally mean? It would mean 3, bottom number is a 4, 3 quarter notes per bar. This would mean 2 half notes per bar. And then this last one down here would mean 6 quarter notes per bar. Let me change this to 8 so I can get. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fill out these bars with any amount of notes. I'm going to do what I did the first one. I'm going to do the first 2, and then you guys are going to do the rest. All right? So we're going to take a break at this time. I want you to see if you can kind of go back over everything, concretize everything, and then we'll see if we can finish this up. All right?
On October 23, 1996, I made the most important decision of my life. That decision to follow Jesus. Since I've been following Jesus, it has been a wonderful experience. And this is why I'm inviting you, my friends, to join us to Seventh-day Adventist Church, October 3 to 17, 2020, for the online Let's Talk About Him evangelistic series under the theme, I Follow Jesus. I follow Jesus, and I want you to follow him too. So join us and visit the website ltah.org for free Bible study and resources. I Follow Jesus. It's an online digital series. No mask is required.
I think you should subscribe, but why subscribe? Alright, let me tell you why you're never on time. You see the little button? It's always red. Reminds me of Jesus and how he bled. It says subscribe, right? Go ahead and press it. That way we'll spread the gospel so everybody get it. Now click the little bell and please select all. We're sounding the commission. This is the call. Now if you're in your bed or you're in your garden, you won't miss 1 or 6 because your phone will go ping. A new beginning, instruments for change. Oh, give thanks, mind your health. Youth Mission Live, EJC Virtual Church. You'll never miss another because you're finally subscribed. Why subscribe? This is the reason. Let's worship God together with this platform he's given. Yep. Every single person is a part of a family. You're a part of a family, I'm a part of a family, and that's why this book, the family book, is perfect for anyone watching right now. In this book, it refers to issues regarding every aspect and every member of the family. In this chapter, it refers to preparing for marriage. It says, more and more couples are trying to prepare for marriage by living together to see if they are suited to each other. They feel that they are doing the best thing for their relationship by testing it out before committing themselves. But recent research into these relationships shows that is not the best kind of premarital experience. Sex before marriage usually leads to regrets. No one ever regretted waiting until marriage to have sex. Here are some of the facts about cohabitation, and I'm sure you'd like those facts, but you have to get this book from the IADPA bookstores. There's stuff in here for the child who wants to have more fun with their parents and siblings. There's things in here for the teenager who wants to have those deep conversations with their parents. And for the parents and grandparents, there are things in here to help you to guide and nurture your children into the ways of Christ. Trust me, you can't miss out on this book. And if you would like this book, you should visit the IADPA bookstores. You get a 25% discount from now until September 2020 if you use the word marriage. And while you're in the bookstore, you should get these notebooks for your children as they return to school. There are books with different information on them. This one, for example, at the front of it says, "Blessed is the man who trusts in him." They are all related to Christ, and I'm sure you'd want those while your child is at school, learning about Christ while learning the academic work. You get these books for $327. You get the hardcover books for $311. So check them out as you're in the IADPA bookstores in Mandeville, Montego Bay, Spanish Town, Ocho Rios, and in Kingston at 74 Constant Spring Road. Visit IADPA on Instagram at IADPA Bookstore_JM. And if you'd like a number to dial, that's 1-876-557-9747. Please enjoy the rest of this program.
Okay, so that was my maker and my king. So what we're going to be doing now, after we have done that little exercise there, we're going to complete the table. We're going to be looking at some hymns and breaking them down, seeing how time signatures apply and how you would use time signatures, how you would use your understanding of time signatures to understand music better. All right, so let's go to the board and then we'll come right back here and break down the hymns. So, if we wanted to complete this, we could say, so we'll look at the bottom number first. So this is the principle. Look at the bottom number first. See what note, whether it's a quarter note, whether it's an eighth note, whether it's a half note, what note represents one beat. So the bottom number tells us that, right? So we say a quarter note represents one beat. So in every bar, in every section, we should have 3 quarter notes. Now, how many things can make up a quarter? We could have 6 eighth notes. So that's an option. We could have 6 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because that would take up 3 quarter beats, right? So we'd have 1, 2, 3. Or we could have 3 quarter notes, exactly 3. Yeah? 1, 2, 3. Or we could have a combination of any amount. So we could have, let's do the next bar like this. We could have 1, 2, put the 2 eighths there, and then 3. Alright? So now you are going to fill out these. Alright? You're going to do it up quickly and then fill out the table. At the end of class, we'll get back to it. So the one with 2, 2 and the one with 6, 8. That is your homework. Alright, so let's go to the hymns now. All right, so let's start with number 15, my maker and my king. So I'm not going to really be playing it. I'm going to be showing it here. So if we could just have this camera here, I'm going to be showing it. All right, so before we get into this way, all right, good. So before we get into the singing, if you realize right here, you kind of see one note here by itself, and there you see a line. This, what you call this in music, is called a pickup bar. Pickup like pickup truck. Pickup bar or pickup measure. Bar or measure, same thing. So the pickup bar, what it is just one bar, one beat really before the song. Let me not say before the song starts. What is a pickup bar? It's essentially is like the song start before it start. So you have 1, 2, 3, my maker. That is the best. That's the best analogy I can use. So you have 1, 2, 3, my maker. So it is the beat. Here it is. This is what a pickup bar is. It is the weak beat right before the strong beat. So it's when a note falls on the weak beat. So you'd call 4 the weak beat of the bar, and beat 1 the strong beat of the bar. So 1, 2, 3, my maker and my king, to thee my all I owe. All right. So if you look at this song, what you'll see here is that you'll see the pickup bar, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another line. That's a bar line. So in this song, you can see that the 4/4, it literally means 4 beats per bar. That's why you sing it like that. Tum 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 tum. When you're hearing the beat, you're hearing the march. Remember we said that we have 2 times, march time and waltz time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, good. So that's that song. Let's look at another song now that does not have a pickup measure. Let's look at number 10. So, come Christians join to sing. This is still 4/4. We're still in 4/4 right now. So, if we look at come Christians join to sing, we'll see that, there we go. So we'll see that it's also in 4/4, but it doesn't have a pickup bar. This is so it just starts on the strong beat. It starts on beat 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Come Christians join to sing. I don't know which way to go. Come Christians join to sing. Hallelujah, amen. And this is still in 4 because you're hearing the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you realize, the come, the first note of the bar, it's a half note. And because it's a half note, because the time signature is 4/4, the half note takes up 2 beats. Because 4/4 means 4 quarter notes per bar. And the bottom note means that 4 represents 1 beat. So if we see something, if we say a quarter note representing 1 beat, then a half note would have to represent 2 beats. So that's why you hold that come for 2 beats. It's come, 2, 3, 4. Join to sing. And the singing is also held for 2 notes. And the men of the amen is held for 2 beats. And you'll see that trend going on. Alright? So let's look at some other hymns now that have different time signatures. So let us look on number 6. This one has a pickup bar. So this one is in 3/4. And you're going to hear the difference in the timing now. So this, yes, that's it. So this goes, oh, oh, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. So here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, in the beauty of holiness. bow down before him is glory proclaim. So you hear the 3 different from the 4? That is why the time signature is 3, 4. So you're seeing how time signatures really apply to music. So when you see these numbers now, don't be confused and say, I don't know what this means. Because you learned on EJC, virtual class, instruments for change, what these numbers mean. All right? Let's look at 2 more, and then we'll go back to the board. So, number 3. Most people might not know this song, so I'm going to have to play it. But this is how it goes. So let's switch, if you can see that. All right, so we have, so it goes. God himself is with us. Let us all adore him. And da, da, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I was counting it in 4. But if you realize the time signature is actually 2, 2. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know what it means, so tell me what it means. It means 2 minims or 2 half notes per bar. Now remember, we said the bottom number tells us which note, which kind of note represents 1 beat. So if the bottom number is a 2, which note represents 1 beat in that case? A half note. So if a half note, follow me now, we're going somewhere. If a half note represents 1 beat, then how much would a quarter note represent? What is half of 1? Half, right? So a quarter note, let me write this out so I can see, because some people are visual learners. Oops. If a half note, this is a half note. In 2, 2, let me write out the full thing. 2, 2. We said the bottom number tells us which note represents 1 beat. So this tells us a half note, which is this minim, represents 1 beat. 1 beat. And this will give you a clue as to how to fill out this one here. So that's why we're doing it. A half note represents 1 beat. So how much would a quarter note represent? This is a half note, you know. This is a quarter note. A quarter note would represent half a beat. You see that? You see how everything coming together? Half note represent 1 beat. A quarter note would have to represent half a beat. So I hope you filled out your forms. I'm going to fill out the rest of them now, just to show you how you could fill them out. So you could fill this out like this. 1, 2, and that would be 2 beats, because we have 2 beats per bar, and then a half note represents 1 beat. So you have 2 minims or 2 half notes per bar. Or we could do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? See that? I bet you never saw that coming. 1, 2. So essentially, you'd count this as 1, 2, then 1 and 2 and. So generally, some people would say the quaver is always and. When you have a quaver, you say 1 and 2 and. But depending on the time signature, this can be half a beat. You see that? All right, let's go back to the hymn now. What number is Blessed Assurance? I want to look at that one because I think that one is in Blessed Assurance. That one should be in a different thing. 462. I should know this. 462. So I don't like new hymnals, So I like them old. Okay, this one is in 9/8. All right, good. So we have, and we know this song. Now, let us look at how it is written. In a further class, you may not fully understand how this is written, but in a further class, we will definitely explain this. So let's look at this now. So, remember we said when we have quavers, we join them together. So when we're writing in 3/8 or 6/8 or 9/8 as this song is in, this song is in 9/8. If you look at the time signature, you'll see it's in 9/8. So what does this time signature mean? It means 9 quavers per bar. And this song has a pickup measure. So it's 7, 8, 9. The last 3 beats of the bar. So when you see a time signature like this, you know that the quavers are going to be joined. Alright? Just know that. That's a principle. So you have blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. So you could count this as 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, what a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hair of salvation. Ta, pa, pa. And you feel the walls. Ta 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 pum ta ta pum ta 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 ta. This is my store. All right. So this is just an example. Looking at these songs, these are examples of how time signatures, would apply in music, in your everyday hymns. And what you can do is even look through the hymnal, look for more songs, see if you can see the time signature and say, what does this mean? How would I sing it then? And then that will help to strengthen what you learned here today. Some songs in the hymnal even have no time signature. Yeah, you might say, what does that mean? It just means that the different bars have different amounts of notes in them. I think number 5 or one of them is one such song like that. But we'll get into that for now. All right, so I hope you would have finished all of those. I'm gonna show you some examples of how you could fill out the 6/8. The 6/8. All right. So you could have something like this. If you had this, and of course you would not know how to write them. You wouldn't know how to join them. So if you had this, 6, 8 notes per bar, you are most definitely correct. I mean, you wouldn't be correct in the way you write them, but this is 6, 8 notes per bar. This is actually how they would be written. You would join them together. It's just a convention in music, all right? You join the 3 together and write it like this. This is how Blessed Assurance was written, if you remember. Or you could have something like this. In a further class, we'll get to what this means. This is a dotted note. You won't understand this yet. Some people may know what it is. You could have something like this. All right? But essentially, what I would expect is that everybody would have something looking like that. This first one here, with the quavers pointing down. All right, so for your last exercise, we're doing a lot of work, We're doing a lot of work because I want you to understand what these things mean. And the only way you can understand what these things mean is if you apply. That's why this is applied music theory. So, this is your last piece of work for today. So what you're going to say, what you're going to do, very quickly, this can just be a pop quiz. You're going to say what these time signatures mean, and you're going to state whether they are a march or a waltz. State what they mean and state whether they're a march or a waltz. First one, 4/8. 4/8, what does it mean? Type it quickly. quickly. But I know you should just be saying this. It should just be rolling off your tongue, coming off the top of your head. You should know it like the back of your palm. I don't even know why that's a phrase. This means 4/8 notes per bar. 4/8 notes per bar. 4/8 notes. Simple. This means 3 half notes per bar. And this means 2/4. 2 what? What notes per bar? Quarter notes, because the bottom note is a 4. Yeah. Simple, right? Very simple. Is this a march or a waltz? It is most definitely a march. Yay! Is this a march or a waltz? It is a waltz. Yay! Waltz. And then this one is definitely a march because the top number is a 2. Alright, so you can feel it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The difference between a march and a waltz. Alright, so that concludes today's session. I hope that you definitely learned something. I hope that you'll be able to apply these concepts. And I hope that you will continue watching. You'll continue to tell a friend. You'll continue to tell them to subscribe and to share and to like and to come every day, come every Tuesday and continue participating in the applied music theory sessions. In the instruments for change, the full session. I hope you enjoyed this session. It has been a pleasure. I'm Oren Thomas. Take care.